Hello, friends. Welcome back to yet another Fowler production live stream, feedback live stream, production stream, live stream. This is where we hang out in the studio, check out each other's tracks, donate our ears, give our opinions and our thoughts, and hopefully improve as a community of musicians. If you'd like to be included in future streams, all you have to do is head over to my Discord server, which is discord.gg/Fowler Music, FWLR Music, and the instructions are all in there. And yeah, you can have your tracks featured, we can have a listen, and go from there. So before we head into today's sets of tracks, I'd like to put out a special thanks to today's sponsor, which is this stain on my shirt that I got while eating a granola bar. Earlier today, I was eating a granola bar and I dropped a piece of chocolate and it stained my shirt. So thank you, Stain, for making this live stream possible. Okay, let's head over to FL Studio and check out what you guys sent in this week. Here we are in FL Studio, the DAW choice of professionals around the world. And the first track we're going to listen to is by Grim Wolf. It's called Color Base ID, March 17th. Here we go. Oh. Okay, the intro's cool. The kick kind of feels a little strong when it comes in. It's not that overpowering, but it is slightly overpowering. Let's see. When we drop into the fake out, I don't know. I'm not really feeling the fake out. I kind of want it to hit me right in the face, right there. Okay, during this part, I feel like the kick and the snare are very up front, and we have like the sub bass that's going and the vocal thing and stuff. I mean, like the track is super cool, like the vibe of it. I just think that it needs to be a bit more in your face, which is odd because usually I'm saying it needs to be less in your face, but because there's like you can just tell by looking at the waveform, there's a lot of like side chaining happening where you've got your kick and it almost just looks like if I went like this, I could use this as a kick drum sample. Well, maybe not, but you get the point. Like the side chaining is, I don't know, maybe it needs like a mid bass, like some sort of mid range that connects like that and the, I don't know, like the sub bass. It's too round or something, like it's not in my face enough in the mid-range, but let's keep going. Yeah, do I have the updated one? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I meant to mention this. This is the updated one. I just saved over the old one. I swear to God I meant to say that at the start, but I didn't. But it is the new updated one. Sorry. Yes. Okay, and then another piece of advice that I gave out quite a bit last time was like the chords are very complex and I feel like there might be some clashing notes in the chords from all of the instruments. So I can hear like don't know. I feel like there might be some clashing notes in some of the chords. So it's always a good idea when you have like these big like layers and layers and layers of stuff to kind of go through and take an inventory of what notes are being played. And you know, you might find that there's like D, D sharp, and E. Maybe they're not all in one track, but if you add all the tracks together, there's a D sharp, and there's an E being contributed from different parts. And when you layer them together, it's just kind of like this like dissonant kind of sound. So I would go through all of your chordal kind of harmonic stuff, maybe solo it, forget about the production, forget about like the mix and everything, and just look at what notes are being played and see if there's any sort of dissonance happening, because I feel like they're a bit messy. But yeah, besides that, I think maybe the side chaining could be a little more cohesive with the rest of the track. To me, I feel like there's like a kick and a snare, and then there's like the rest of the track, as opposed to like all being blended together. That could be a master thing too. It doesn't really look like it's mastered very hard. But yeah, lots of potential, cool track. All right, let's move on. And sorry about the confusion with the the file name. Wow, my brain today. Okay. Industry, here we go. Holy, we got something happening here. Let's listen.
Hello, it's me. I'm not calling for any particular reason. I just saw like a really pretty like flower bed, and
this straight up sounds like the start of like an itch.io horror movie. Horror game.
And it kind of looked like your that game you showed me, and it reminded me of you. And yeah, I've also sent you a picture of it. I just wanted to tell you. I don't know. Reminded me of you, and I never miss you. So I see you again soon. Have a good day.
The mailbox is full and cannot accept any messages at this time. Goodbye.
The speed at which the the telephone voice is going is very unsettling.
Not accept any messages at this time. Goodbye.
Okay, so this is super cool. This groove is really good. I feel like the sub range might just be a little overpowering because it kind of feels like the rest of the track gets kind of dipped down by maybe the master bus or maybe a sidechain or something. But like the sub range is just when that 808 kind of sub bass thing comes in, I like it, but it just maybe pushes things out of the way a little bit too much and kicks me out of the groove just a bit. There's like a cool little sound design bass sound here somewhere. That ba-bow, ba-bow. I kind of want that to I want to hear that louder. I heard it, but I kind of had to I had to listen for it, right? Like it would be kind of cool if it like poked through the mix and everything kind of went away for a second, then came back in. Or I know that's very like my style, but
Hey, do you have the volume?
see, there it is again. I think that bass is really cool, but it kind of just sounds like an afterthought the way it's mixed in there. Like it's kind of underneath things. Yeah, Edwin's right. The sound wants to pop. Like it sounds like it's like it wants, but it's just being held back a little bit too much. So I think if you push that forward, that would be, and that would break up the repetitiveness a little bit too. Because I mean, like this is really groove based, so a little bit of repetitiveness isn't that bad because I can hear lots of things evolving and changing, and the repetitiveness isn't necessarily hurting it that much. But I do think that if that bass came and went, that would give the track a bit more progression.
So I'm here in shot. That's a little weird. Were you police at all?
I like the little silent thing. That's cool. I don't know. The little plucky arpeggio thing, I feel like coming in here. I don't know if I was ready for it yet or not, because it kind of makes me feel like I'm back here. I wonder if you did something to the sub bass to bring out some brightness, like either layer a little bit of white noise with it and then send it through a bit of distortion to give it that kind of, like that top end sound, or like maybe just overdrive it a little bit. It's when it comes in, it just sounds like pure sub. Yeah, I think I think if you just I think if you just had like a bit more balance of top end, it wouldn't make me feel like the sub was overpowering. Although I still think it could come down in volume a little bit. But this is like a super cool groove. It's very what's the word I'm looking for? Not disheartening. It's very scary, I guess, is the basically what I'm trying to say. I like the dynamicness of like when it's so ambient, but then you pull it away for little bits and pieces. That's cool. It's like almost like showing off control in a way. You know what I mean? You're like, hey, this is ambient and atmospheric, but I can pull it away at any second. And I really like that. So yeah, I think the sub range is just a little too overpowering, and maybe bring that that cool wubby bass up a bit more in the mix so it hits me in the face a bit harder. And this is a sick track, man. Thanks for sending it in. All right, moving on. Let's go. Okay, Westbrook comes in with the 6 dB of headroom. We're just gonna go ahead and get rid of that. Here we are. Let's take a listen. I don't know what the BPM is. This is really good though. Let's. I for some reason I feel like it's faster than 174. I think it's like, I don't know, 180. What? Faster than 180? Oh, maybe not. Whatever it is, it's fast. I like it. Okay, so let's dig in. The vocals 188. Wow. That's like the numb DMB remix that I didn't make was 190 beats per minute. Okay. When it comes in, I would create a new version of the kick that was a little shorter and had a little bit less sub range to it, so it was more of just like a d instead of like a wump. Because if we listen to just the sub range, all we're gonna hear is like that kick really coming through with nothing to balance it out, so it kind of feels like just a little bit awkward. And I was gonna say that the vocals need to come up. I feel like if the kick was less in your face, the vocals would sit a little bit better, but they still probably could come up a little bit. Okay, so if we look over at the spectrum analyzer, we can kind of see the super scooped, and I know it's drum and bass, and I know that it's like, you know, it's kind of supposed to have that scooped feel, but I feel like this, how bright it is and how subby it is, I feel like that's kind of holding it back. So if we open up Ozone and just kind of do like the opposite of that. Yeah, I think that oh, hey Volant, what's up? I think that it's just a bit too scooped. Like you have this, it's a really nice sounding sub. Like it's got this cool warbly thing to it. I'd like to have more energy in the mid range to balance out that sub and that brightness. And I think that the snare also is a little bit too like wooden sticky, like it's a bit of a wooden stick. Or like a branch maybe, and if it had a little bit of like that thunk, like that fundamental frequency in the mid range, that would make the snare pop a lot better. It's not like this is like that aggressive drum and bass that really needs the snare to smack you in the face every time, but I wonder what it would be like if you had like a halftime, almost like hip hop beat in this section. Because I can already tell I'm gonna probably get a little bit bored in this section.
Something tells me this is love. I'll wait for you. You're the one that I've been dreaming of. I'll wait for you.
I really like that subby Reese bass. Like it's super cool. I think having some sort of something in here to keep the pace going is going to help a lot. Honestly, it's really good. I think that if the balance of the low and the high was a little bit better, and that's not to say you need to, I mean, you could drop the sub down a little bit, but it might just be like find elements that already have those frequencies in them and accentuate it, either turn them up, maybe EQ it up a little bit, boost a little bit, and also get that fundamental of the snare to come through, that dong, like the tone of the snare. I feel like we're only getting kind of that branch kind of sound. So yeah, that would be my advice. It's really good though. totally worth the copyright claim. Yeah. Good job, dude. I really think that if you just had that fundamental of the snare, I know I'm just repeating myself, but yeah, fundamental of the snare, balance out the mid range a little bit, and then obviously either master it or get it mastered or something. And then it's solid. Maybe add in a little bit of rhythm here somehow to keep things going. Cool. All right, let's move on. Okay, this one is Nitro Flight Demo. Let's have a listen. Make sure nothing's on. I turned the ozone off. Okay. Okay, hold on. I'm seeing, is this a new version? Hold on. Let's save this and drop that in. Once it's done, I think this is a newer version. Here we go. Okay, it looks a little different. Let's, okay, first of all, the first thing that caught my ear was that this kick is very aggressive, and I think it might just need to come down a little bit, but like the rest of the track during this point is kind of just like grooving, but that kick is like ready to like, you know what I mean? So I think if you maybe just turned it down so that the waveform looked a little more sausagey and less I don't know, what would you call this, spiky? Anyway, yeah, the kick is just a bit intense, in my opinion, for the intro. It kind of takes away from the grooviness, because we're like, am I supposed to groove or am I supposed to headbang? You know, the kick is maybe having a bit of an identity crisis. Okay, so then, hold on. Be careful with the little reverse thing. I can hear a click at the end of it. Okay, so when we get to this section, I do kind of feel like the super saw or whatever that pad like synth chord thing is like really loud. It's almost like the loudest. And this note is too low for the sub range. I have a very good subwoofer, and it is not able to really produce that frequency very well. So I would maybe go up an octave. Maybe it sounds bad that way. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but the sub range sounds balanced until we hit that note, and then all of a sudden you went down so low that the note kind of disappears a little bit. It's not that bad, but it did stick out to me. Okay, let me play it again and to let EDM to it. I love how that's a thing. Is like so super saws is now a pop culture thing. Yeah, I mean, like, what you're doing is really good. Sounds really cool and uplifting. I think that it's just, you're just pushing it a little too hard for its own good, especially that, that whatever that chord is. I don't know what it sounds like a super saw to me. Also, take your reverb and stuff that's trailing it out and then automate it off. Just try it. I do this all the time. Maybe you like it trailing over everything else, but my personal taste would be when you do like the brah, 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 like the complextro kind of sound design, I would like chop everything hard so that beyond, 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 whatever the sound design thing just cuts right through and says, you know, fuck you, reverb. I am the sound that people are hearing now. Like right there. Yeah, like there's really cool stuff happening, but I feel like it's subtle, but if the reverb trails over top of it, it kind of dilutes the sound, right? Because you've got a da-da, like there's two notes and it's dynamic, but you have this reverb tail that's just kind of covering everything in almost like a dust, like a sound dust. So just experiment and see if you like it. That's my taste, is to cut everything hard, and I do it a lot, maybe even too much. But yeah, try that, see if you like it. I don't like the word always, Raham, but yes, I always do it. Okay, same note for this section. It's super groovy, super nice and like, you know, atmospheric, but then you've got this like fucking heavy metal kick transient coming through. So maybe either choose a different kick for these sections, maybe like a bit more of a hip hoppy kind of kick or something, and that would, I think, serve the groove a little bit better. Yeah, okay, so other than that, I feel like the master is just kind of really getting hit hard and maybe not in the most strategic way. I know that it's a whip and you probably are just like sending it into master so that you can get excited and work on it, which is fine. But I do find, especially when those vocals come in, we can really hear some like pumping. It just kind of feels like things are fighting each other. It almost feels like this section is trying to be full dubstep loud, but it's like, it's kind of a chill section, right? I can understand this section over here being like super in your face aggressive, but when this happens, I think you should embrace kind of the grooviness and the kind of the beauty of what you've done, because there's a lot of really cool melodic stuff happening. It's really nice and pretty. I just feel like it's being treated a little bit like a dubstep drop when it should just be like a groove or like a beat. But yeah, it's definitely a cool start to something, and I definitely think you should continue. Just definitely play around with automating reverb. It might change your life. It might. Okay, great job. Now it's on to Drop Pop's remix with the Headroom remix. We'll do a little. Well, I guess there's a peak somewhere right there. All right, let's have a listen. Okay, this is really cool electro. I dig it. At the start here, this kick is kind of weird to me. I think it might be because it's so short, but still has that kind of low fundamental frequency. So we're getting like this really short fundamental frequency. Let's see what happens if I high pass. Yeah, I'd try maybe high passing the kick during this section. It's just kind of it's odd. It's almost like if you think about like natural sounds, if you have a sound that is really low frequency, it's probably not going to be very short, right? Because the wavelength is long and it's going to ring out over X amount of cycles, which is like super, I guess, nerdy, but like I think that's what's throwing me off is that you have this like tiny little short, unnaturally short, low frequency sound. And yeah, I would maybe just try either high passing it or use a different kick for the intro kick. I mean, that must be the Pegboard Nerds chiptune lead. I love it. It makes me want to make chiptunes again. I haven't made chiptunes in a while. Mix-wise, honestly, besides like the mastering, which I don't really understand what's going on with the mastering because it sounds and looks squished, but it's like we have headroom here but not here. I'm a little confused as to what's going on in the master bus. I think it could be louder because obviously if we just ignore that first part and look at this, we have, you know, probably 3 dB of headroom on top. So yeah, that it sounds good though. I mean, like, okay, what is that? I just about fell out of my chair. Okay, that... I feel like that side chain is there, but the kick isn't there. So fix that maybe. Unless you meant to do it. In that case, you go, girl. Okay, I think this is pretty good, honestly. I don't have a whole lot of big concerns besides, you know, like that side chain just about tossed me off my chair and the intro kick drum and then just the mastering in general. I mean, especially if you got rid of this kick drum at the start, I mean, peak wise, we can see how loud it is compared to the rest of the song, right? So fix those things. And I saw Raham said something about the timing of the lead stem. I've never heard the song, so I don't really know, but it didn't sound weird to me. Maybe because I've never heard the song. I think that I don't know, maybe end it a little less abruptly. Maybe have it kind of go meow, like if it's gonna end abrupt like that, maybe make it sound like a vinyl stop or something. But yeah, good job, dude. This is I think this is the best sounding thing that I've heard you make. So good job and keep it up. And I hope that whatever, if this is a contest or whatever, you do well. Okay, cool. Let's move on. We're halfway through. So this one's called Awakening of the Moon. This almost sounds like a Zelda thing. Whoops. Spoiler alert. I played the end of the song by Unnamed. Here we go. Okay, first of all, there's some frequencies that you got to be careful. I'm hearing them poke through a little bit. Let's, don't worry, I had this disengaged, so we weren't hearing it through this filter. Let's get rid of these. Yeah, it's like that 3 to 5 kHz where the like the claps come in. There's just I don't know, it's a little pokey in that range. I can't decide if I think this is cool or not. I think that your choice of kick is maybe not optimal. I would maybe check out like a more trap kind of kick. This kind of almost sounds like an acoustic drum set kick, and I don't know if it fits the vibe as well as like a more drum machine kind of kick would sound. Okay, the reverse kick things. I don't know. I've never really been a fan of reverse kicks in general. Yeah, that I think that like the chord synth or like the main kind of melodic synth, it's just a little like it's up in that higher register and it's a bit abrasive on the ears if you just like kind of let it play through. So maybe dip. You could see I was dipping like oh, that's the wrong button. I was dipping like this, like 4,000 to 6,000 hertz. That stuff, it's just a little too like tickly on my ears, I would say. So let's get rid of this. I don't think it's the whole song. I think it's specifically that like the chord thing that's being played. And again, like the style, and I'm not good at genres, but it sounds like it's kind of like a trap or like future something, I don't know, but the drums, the kick and the snare specifically sound like they are like a acoustic sounding kit or something. So I would experiment with a different kick and snare, especially the snare, because the snare just kind of sounds like this boxy snare in the background. You know, it's like a like it sounds like a jam band kind of acoustic drum snare. So I would I'm not suggesting you go with the typical trapaholic snare sort of thing, but something a little closer to that style, I think would suit the song a bit better. I think what it is with this reverse thing, if you had a kick that came in, like there's no clear transient at the start of that section. It's just kind of a whomp. That's the start of the section. I think if it had like a punch that side chained it. That would help a lot. That thing is, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of that thing. It sounds a little cheesy to me. It sounds like it. What's the best way I can put this? It kind of sounds like it's trying to be cool. And I think it's, if you're low passing it or if you're tuning it down, it kind of just sounds like this. It sounds like instead of a low pass filter like this going down, it sounds like a low pass filter like this, where we really hear that resonant going pew, pew. And I think that's what's killing me on it. I don't mind what it's doing. I just think that the resonant or that sound that goes pew is a little too much. Yeah, so try a bit more modern sounding kick and snare, bring down the 6,000 hertz range in that main kind of chord thing, and keep going. I like the piano stuff, like it's very nice and sounds natural and cool. Okay, let's keep on going. Next one is Vivo Eclipse ID. Okay, that chord progression is amazing. I love that it caught me off guard. Like I wasn't expecting it to do. It almost sounds it sounds very cinematic. So that's dope. When we get here, it's kind of a mess. There's lots of cool stuff happening, but it kind of sounds like you have thrown it all at the wall and you have yet to figure out what is stuck to the wall, if that makes sense. So my suggestion would be to, now that you've got all of these crazy elements that you have to work with, is to kind of copy this section, put it away over there somewhere, and totally try to carve out a more cohesive phrase. You know what I mean? Like it's right now just kind of sounds like, it almost sounds like AI generated dubstep. And I hope that's not offensive. Like, there's lots of cool sounds in here, but it's just kind of like going off, you know? So I think what you can do is treat this as if you have all this clay and you've yet to carve it into a musical phrase or like a drop. Because, okay, first of all, the kick going dun da dun 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 dun, like that could be cool as a fill, but I feel like it's a bit jarring. It's hard to get into that groove because you're kind of like switching up where the kicks and the snares land. There's nothing really for me to anchor myself to, like it's hard for me to nod, you know, kind of like get into the groove because it's like do do do. Like it just, you know, it's okay to do that as a fill, but I think you should try to find a more a sentence in this music as opposed to just words, if that makes sense. And there's also times where like the kick kind of sounds like it's trying to happen, but it's not happening. Yeah, like right here. It sounds like you have like a sub kick, but not the transient like top kick. If that makes sense. So yeah, I would say like okay, the start of the song could maybe be this. Fade that in instead. I don't think you need to have it quite as long, and you might also get away with doing this. And this is just my suggestion. And don't do it exactly like that. I haven't cut it on time or anything, obviously. I really love the chord progression. I love it. I was intrigued, but when the crazy AI dubstep drop happened, I was just like, wow, what? You know? So try to find, I think there's a cool phrase in there, right? A cool series of notes and rhythms and stuff. I just don't think you have carved it down to that point yet. I think you're still at the, hey, let's throw all of these wacky sounds in and see what sticks. So let's actually find out what sticks, I think is maybe the moral of this story. Be careful with the side chaining when there's nothing there, because that is a sound, but it kind of feels like the ground has been sucked away from under you if you use it too much, or especially with this, because I'm struggling to find the rhythm anyway. So when that side chain comes, but the kick isn't there, it just kind of throws me off even more. I think that you have something cool here. I just think you need to maybe simplify it a little bit, you know, like find a groove and elaborate, as opposed to starting with this big complex thing and then trying to simplify it down. Maybe just start with the drums. So move everything over, have your build up and your cool cinematic chord progression, and then find a cool drum beat that's solid, like a rhythm that's solid that you can get into. Then maybe incorporate the bass phrasing. What's the bass gonna do? Okay, the bass is gonna do down, 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 down. Okay, that's cool. All right. So now bring in the sub bass. Make sure it's doing the right thing, and make sure it's playing the same notes and doing all the right stuff. Okay, now maybe we need some crashes. Like build it back up with all of the cool sounds you have, but in a slightly more strategic way, if that makes sense. I really like that chord progression. I really like that. And the sound design's cool. It just needs to be figured out, I guess. So, okay, cool. Let's move on. Bleed. So this was one that he sent last week, and I forgot to include. So here it is this week. Flashback.
in the back, there's some tap pool ready to go and jump in. Flashback, before you got mad, then he then cracked that. In and out of Dolo when the new mass. To the boys were on him and he crashed that. Till they came back, man, I don't act like. Heads off, yeah, all of that one pack. I could be anywhere feeling alright. Turn the game when the head is so mad at. I'm like, flashback.
This is really cool. I don't have a lot of feedback so far. I think that the guitar could have a little bit more top end, and one trick that I do sometimes, because I don't think you're gonna find much top end in that guitar, but what you could do is double, like take the guitar, make a new copy of it, tune it up an octave, high pass it just to get the top end, and then just bring that in until you just barely start to hear it, and you might find that it adds. It might also sound like total complete ass, but it's something to try, and it's worked for me in the past. And that actually rhymed. That's a blast. Okay. There's like the Hey sample that just kind of seemed out of place to me. Yeah, that just kind of sounds unnecessary, I guess. I don't know. Raham, I know what an octave pedal is, but no, that's not what I'm referring to. I'm just like, take it, tune it up using like Ableton or FL Studio or whatever, and then just use the very top end of it. You're not using it to add an octave. You're using it to shift the high mids of the existing guitar. You're shifting those up, and then you're just adding them back into the original signal to almost artificially add some top end.
Me and them boys, we ain't friends, we ain't like them.
Okay, when this part happens, and I noticed this before,
The guys in dip out the ends, jump in the ride and burn out the rims. Don't stop, keep it real in the ends. Never leave crib or the end.
I can't quite put my finger on it, but it's why I opened up Ozone last time we were in this section. There's like,
Keep it real in the ends. Never leave crib or the ends. Me and that kid, we don't need to pretend. Me and them boys, we ain't friends, we ain't like them.
I feel like we're missing like a whole lot of I don't know, like top end or something.
Keep it real in the ends. Never leave crib or the ends. Me and that kid, we don't even need to pretend. Me and them boys, we ain't friends, we ain't like them. Walk up, talk up straight, speak up, say what you say. Real.
And I can hear like that you're like low passing it, so I'm wondering if that low pass filter was on a little bit and killing some of the top end.
Keep it real in the ends. Never leave crib or the ends. Me and that kid, we don't even need to pretend. Me and them boys, we ain't friends. Yeah. Down. Woke up and then I kicked up. I turned ghost on them. I'm gone. Kicks on and I'm gone. Head missed and I.
Like I don't mind that it does the low pass thing, but I think when the drop first comes in, there might be some low pass filtering happening already.
Like them. Never keep it real in the ends.
We're not starting with full high frequency content where it sounds like we're starting with a filter on or something. I would investigate that. Okay, so yeah, I'm here to help. The way you submit is you go on my Discord server, discord.gg/FWLR music, and you post. And if you post it, I will take a listen to it next week because this week's all filled up. Okay. Now, I don't know if this is a well-known WUB sample from a certain sample pack, which I saw Raham mention. It sounds cool to me, but if it's like an overused sample, I would maybe consider replacing it with something else that you've made or something like that. Like the track is cool, what it's doing is cool, but if you could create that same phrasing without using like overused Virtual Riot samples, then I would do that. Yeah, when that guitar comes in, it kind of, excuse me, it kind of sounds. It's kind of strange because you got this like weird like comb filter kind of sound of like the guitar. That's what it sounds like. And you've got the strong sub bass, but you don't really have anything balancing it out in the top end. So it kind of feels a bit like, I don't know, like a sinus problem. And I'm having the same kind of issue with these sounds. It almost does kind of sound like sinusy, like I have like a sinusy kind of thing. I don't know if it's like the reverb. Yeah, so if what Rayham is saying is true with the Virtual Riot design thing, I would just like it's it's cool sometimes to go through and use other people's wubs and stuff to like kind of play around and come up with phrases that you wouldn't necessarily have come up with otherwise. But you should always try and go back and kind of recreate or like put your own spin on it or something like that, just so that we're continually adding value to the world. Super cool track. It's kind of all over the place. I don't really mind that. I don't really remember all of the pieces of advice I gave you, but that's why you can go and rewatch this. So cool. I think you should continue it. Moving on. All right. Oh, God, I keep doing that. Sorry for ruining all of this. So, Corrupting the Population, SL Only Now remix. Okay, there's like a jun 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 jun, and then there's like a pew 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 pew, and then there's a like almost like an organ like. I feel like they're all kind of clashing. It's kind of like there's like this like synth thing it's very it's like this right here, and I think it's not really doing the track any favors in this spot. I can't fight this war inside, but I try to tighten my grip. Yeah, I feel like you have vocals and you have the whatever that synth is that I'm talking about, and they're just kind of like all together. Sorry. I don't know. You might just be able to get rid of that sustained synth thing and just have the chugs and the vocals and the drums might be enough. Like maybe you could start filtering it up starting here, I still don't think it should be right up front because it's really fighting the vocals. But if it was gone for the rest of the track, or like the intro section here, and then you started bringing it up in. So that lead sound is, be careful with that, because the lead sound has the potential to hurt ears. The kick drum is like, the transient is in its own whole other league. I don't dislike the sound of the transient. I just think you have like this transient on top of a kick, which I could be wrong, but that's kind of what it sounds like. Like the transient's really fucking kick, like it's like punching right through the speakers a bit too much. And I also, what I would do if I were you for this section is play it and start muting elements and see if they're all necessary or if they're all adding to the cause. I feel like there is a lot happening, and it's a bit of a wall of sound. So one of the most powerful tools that you have is the delete button, or, you know, the mute button, because you might find that you only need half of the elements and all of a sudden everything's more clear, and it, you know, maybe it's not quite as in your face, but maybe that's a good thing. Like right off the bat, I would maybe try to I don't know, I'd maybe maybe get rid of the vocals for the first part of the drop, bring them in later. Yeah, like that lead and the vocal are both competing in the same, I don't know, it's competing in the same frequency range, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Also, I mean, wow, loud. You can kind of see what I'm talking about over here too in the spectrum area. This is probably the leads and the vocals all piling up, and then you have like this big sub bass, and then yeah, I mean, I would honestly start going through and just muting elements or turning them down. Just see if you can rejig it a little bit, because it's just a bit too in your face in that frequency range. There's definitely some cool shit happening. Like, I really like... But it might be a bit aggressively mastered. And I'd also kind of maybe welcome some more of this style stuff throughout the track, just to give us a break from that, like, ha, you know? But besides that, yeah, it's a cool track. I think just try to dial some elements back so that other elements can shine through, especially the vocals, because those are always the most important. All right, let's move on. Thank you, Cody. This one is Drazzle X. I don't know what I'm calling this yet, getting vocals. Okay, definitely vocals. Like, this has so much room for vocals. Okay, this is really cool. I think so you have like this like rain kind of sound. I would experiment with pulling it out when the drop hits. Just see. It might sound bad, you know, it might feel empty, but like I think that pulling it out is going to make the beat a little more clear because it's almost just like noise at that point. Also, your kick and your snare are a bit off balance. Like the kick is quite loud and the snare is quite gentle. And I would put the snare up just a bit and knock the kick down just a bit, just a little bit. Okay, yeah, this is really good. I think you definitely need some vocals on this. I know that you said you're getting vocals, which is great. Definitely get some original vocals because this track deserves original vocals. My main concern is around that kind of the rain sound. And what you can do is use that as a tool to build what's the word I'm looking for? Anticipation, but also to distinguish different sections. Like we have lots of high frequency constant for most of the tracks. So maybe pulling it out of one of the sections, like right here, would like give us a break and almost maybe we have a chance to miss it, or maybe that distinguishes that section above other sections. I think that it's kind of you're maybe overusing that. Especially if you're, you know, when you put vocals on it, all that high frequency stuff is going to potentially get in the way of the vocals coming through clearly. So maybe just be a little more careful with those elements. Okay, this section caught me off guard kind of in a not good way. So I think if there was some sort of hint towards what was about to happen, it doesn't have to, you know, you don't have to hint towards it very long, but maybe, you know, like bring in the drum and bass vibe, maybe a couple bars or a couple measures before it happens. And then like Raham says, the kick and snare are not very good for this style. This is again, it's a bit of a branch. It sounds like a bit of a branch. Also, I think you should sidechain to your snare for this. not necessarily super long of a side chain or super deep, but just a little bit, because the snare just kind of gets incorporated with the high end and the mids of everything else. At some point, I would want to have that jun just by itself, nothing else. Just like there's always like a sub bass or a little bit of a swoosh, or there's something kind of contaminating it, and that's okay for most of the time. But at one spot, I would have it go jun dun 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 bah, like just give it its own little spotlight. But yeah, that's this is a super cool track, man. It's happy. It makes me feel happy, which is good, because most of the stuff I make makes me feel angry or sad. So it's nice to have some happiness. Cool. Let's move on. I saw somebody asking me about gaming soon. Gaming nights on the FWLR Discord server are Thursdays, not Fridays. Okay. Dylan Purser, Flyaway Master. Ooh, he's got the master word in the title. Here we go.
Find a place to hide away. I wanna go to space and fly away, 'cause the world's too much to live in. I don't wanna try and fit in. No, let's just go on a one-way trip for days.
Okay, the vocals, I like what they're doing. The vocals are there's a bit of a lump in like the fundamental low mids area, and a bit of a dip in the high end. I feel like the whole vocal kind of has to go this way. I don't know if this is reversed or not, but the high end needs to come up a little, and then there's kind of like this muddiness that could go away. I like the volume of them. They're actually up front in the mix, which is nice. That like full-on chord thing, it doesn't bother me until I've heard it for 32 bars straight, and then it starts to get a little bit like the high frequency part of it starts to get a little bit agitating. Yeah, it could just use a bit of a dip in that kind of 3,000 to 6,000 hertz, that kind of danger zone. Because I really could tell, how much it was starting to get on my nerves towards the end when it went away, and I was like, I kind of exhaled.
I wanna find a place to hide away. I wanna go to space and fly away, 'cause the world's too much to live in. I don't wanna try and fit in. No, let's just go on a one-way trip for days.
Welcome home, Columbia. Beautiful, beautiful. Bring it up to hangar, Joe. We're gonna dust it off first.
I really like the Donkey Kong underwater level. Do 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 do. I love that. I love that when it came in.
I wanna find a place to hide away. I wanna go to space and fly away. 'Cause the world's too much to live in. I don't wanna try and fit in. No, let's just go on a one-way trip for days.
I much prefer the second drop. I almost would maybe try doing the same kind of dumb thing in this first drop, maybe halfway through or something, because that totally solves the problem that I was having with that kind of being in my face the entire time. It's super good though, like. Yeah, it's super good, man. This is dope. I think that the vocals are a little bit almost sound like they weren't recorded on a good mic. I don't know if maybe that's just processing, or maybe that is the case, but I think if you could boost up the high end, but you're going to have to DS because there are already some S's cutting through that are a bit painful. If you boost the high end, that's only going to get worse, right? So I would suggest like FabFilter Pro DS. That's a really good de-esser, or just manually de-essing, which is always the best. But yeah, I think this is a dope track and could just use a couple little tweaks. Cool. Thanks. Last track, Eswin. Holy dynamic range. Let's hear this dynamic range. Okay, up until this point, it kind of just sounded like there was like an Amish dude in the middle of a field with a single ride cymbal, and he was just like playing. Everything except the drums is dope. The drums are whatever the opposite of dope is. I know you said this is like 2 years old. I would resurrect this project, delete the drums, and do like an IDM kind of beat or something. Yeah, honestly, man, everything everything that I've heard so far is really good, except those drums. Yeah, I don't even don't even go here. I wouldn't even do this. I think honestly, I don't know, man. This is really cool. I would just like resurrect this or like sample your own track or stem it or something. I don't think oopsies, that's not what I meant to do. I don't think that this really I don't know. I just don't see the point of that. I think that the whole track is like mysterious and beautiful and cool. And I think you should try that. I just hiccuped and burped at the same time. That was interesting. There's just so much cool, weird beauty happening. I say fuck that style. I could totally hear some like some almost like almost drum and bass, but not really drum and bass, just IDM drum and bass, if that makes sense. I think this is dope. Besides these two sections, I think this there, I fixed it. Yeah, man, I would seriously consider digging this out. If this was my track from years ago and I heard it and remembered that it existed, I would straight up open the project up, delete all of those drums, and then just like make like a cool, beautiful IDM track. That's just my opinion. I hope that you agree. Okay, that's it for this week, guys. And look at that, an hour 34. Man, I'm always aiming for an hour and a half, and we're like hitting it pretty good. So thanks for joining. I really enjoy checking out your guys' music. It's honestly the most music that I listen to throughout the week. And it's cool to hear what you guys are up to. And I hope that, having some extra ears, both mine and the other people in the stream, help you improve. So if you want to be a part of this stream, remember all you have to do is hop over to my Discord server, discord.gg/Fowler Music, and follow the instructions. Once again, I'd like to thank the sponsor of today's stream, which is this chocolate stain on my shirt. We couldn't have done it without you, so thank you. And have a good weekend, guys.